Have you ever felt like you were at your limit, trying to hold the whole world in your hands, and yet everything kept slipping away? Life can feel like a wild storm sometimes, but what if I told you there's a way to walk through those storms with peace in your heart and strength in your steps? Jesus, with his timeless wisdom, didn't just talk about resilience. He lived every principle with intensity and purpose. In this message, we'll dive into real examples from his life and show how faith, prayer, forgiveness, and serving others can transform even the darkest moments into opportunities for growth and spiritual purpose. Get ready to discover spiritual secrets that go beyond what you hear from the pulpit. The promise here is simple. You'll learn how to find peace in chaos, experience miracles where there once was despair, and uncover inner strength even when everything feels lost. Let's go. Sometimes, life's storms hit without warning. Bad news, sudden loss, shattered dreams. In those moments, everything inside us wants to panic. But Jesus, in the chaos of the Sea of Galilee, was peacefully asleep, not because he ignored the danger, but because he fully trusted God, the Father. That scene is a vivid reminder that peace in the middle of chaos doesn't depend on outside circumstances. It comes from a certainty that even the storms serve a greater spiritual purpose. Having this kind of faith is like building your house on a rock. The wind blows, the waters rise, but the foundation holds. And that foundation is Jesus. If you feel surrounded by difficulties today, take a deep breath. Pray. Don't run from a storm, walk through it with him. Do what the Master did, rest in the trust that divine provision will come at the right time. And if fear starts to creep in, remember inner strength is born when we surrender to God's will, not to fear. When Jesus was led into the wilderness, he was physically weak, hungry, vulnerable. And that's exactly when temptation came. But his response was clear: man shall not live by bread alone. Faith was his rock, not visible resources. He knew real strength comes from within, from the resilience rooted in the Word. Faith isn't just believing things will turn out okay. It's trusting God, even when everything looks wrong. It's the fuel that keeps us standing when logic says to give up. To have faith is to move forward without seeing the full path, believing every step will be guided. And that changes everything. Want to develop this kind of practical faith? Start by diving into Scripture. Read Psalm 91, Matthew 6, Hebrews 11 out loud if you need to. Feed your spirit the way you train your body. Spiritual resilience grows like a muscle with practice, effort, and constant trust in God's presence. Jesus prayed a lot, and not just in special moments. Prayer was his lifestyle. Before miracles, he prayed. Before choosing the disciples, he prayed. Facing cross, he prayed. Prayer was his direct connection to heaven, his source of clarity, courage, and peace in the storm. And if he needed that, imagine us. Many people think praying is about repeating memorized words or magical formulas. But true prayer is intimate conversation. It's pouring your heart out and listening too. Talk to God like you talk to a wise and loving Father. Lay out your burdens, but also give thanks. Gratitude opens doors that complaints keep shut. If you want to experience miracles and inner strength, make prayer a real habit. Take just 5 minutes in the morning and say, Lord, guide my day. Help me stay sensitive to your voice. Over time, that becomes a refuge. And you'll see those who pray don't walk alone. They walk with purpose and confidence in God. At the Last Supper, Jesus the Master, the Son of God, knelt down to wash his disciples' feet. A simple yet revolutionary act. He showed us that inner strength isn't about shouting louder, but about bowing down to lift someone else up. Serving others is a deep way to express love and reveal the heart of God. When you step out of your own bubble and start noticing the people around you, something shifts. Your own pain feels smaller when you're helping someone else carry theirs. Simple acts, listening, giving your time, making a meal, carries spiritual power. Serving reconnects us to heaven and reminds us we're part of something bigger. Want a practical step? Choose someone today and do something unexpected for them. Send an encouraging message. Help without expecting anything back. What feels small here on earth echoes loudly in heaven. And more than that, serving is one of the fastest ways to reconnect with your spiritual purpose when you feel lost. The disciples were terrified in the boat, thinking they were about to die. Jesus, calm as ever, stood up and said, "Peace, be still." And the sea obeyed. Their fear was real, but their faith in Jesus should have been stronger. He didn't scold them for feeling afraid, but for not fully trusting. This teaches us something powerful. Fear is natural, but it shouldn't make our decisions. When faith walks in, panic walks out. You may be surrounded by bills, bad news, or betrayal, but if you believe God is in the boat with you, the storm loses its power. Trust in God first changes what's inside you before changing what's outside. Try this. Name your fears today and pray over them. Say out loud, "Lord, I place this fear in your hands." Repeat it until peace in the chaos fills your heart. This isn't denying reality, it's choosing to see it through the eyes of faith, where victory is already declared. The woman with the issue of blood had been suffering for 12 years, rejected, exhausted, done. But she didn't give up. In a crowd, she said, "If I just touch his cloak, I'll be healed." And she was. That moment shows the transforming power of faith, not vague belief, but bold, determined trust. Jesus felt power leave him even without seeing who touched him. That proves miracles don't need stages or fancy words, just a heart fully surrendered in faith. This woman's resilience moved heaven. When we truly believe, we don't wait for the storm to pass, we take action. Faith pushes us forward. Waiting for a miracle? Take a step today. Say a bold prayer, start a fast, or make a choice that shows full trust. Often, it's that action of faith in the face of the impossible that activates the supernatural. It's not magic, it's divine provision responding to the brave surrender of someone who already chose to believe. On the cross, in the middle of unbearable pain, Jesus made a choice that changed everything. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." There was no apology, no remorse from the other side, just injustice. And still, he offered forgiveness. That's not weakness. It's the purest form of inner strength. To forgive is to release a heavy stone we've been carrying in our chest. It doesn't mean what they did was right. It means we choose freedom over resentment. And when we do that, something aligns deep inside the soul. It's like heaven breathes with us, and peace in the chaos finally arrives. I want to start this healing process today. Write down the name of someone who hurt you and say, "I choose to forgive." It may hurt at first, but that's where God does his deepest work. Spiritual purpose can't grow in bitter soil. Forgiveness clears the ground for divine grace to take root. In the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus sweated blood. He knew what was coming: betrayal, pain, the cross. Yet he said, "Not my will, but yours be done." That moment is deeply moving. True resilience isn't about avoiding pain. It's trusting that even pain can serve a greater spiritual purpose. Surrendering to God's will isn't giving up, it's trusting that he sees beyond what we can. So often we try to control everything, timing, outcomes, the whole path. But letting go into God's will brings freedom. It takes us out of the center and puts him in control, and that brings deep rest to the soul. If you're facing tough choices, pray like Jesus, "Not what I want, but what you want." Then take a deep breath. Surrendering isn't losing, it's making room for divine provision to show up where human strength runs out. That's when faith matures, when we trust, even without full understanding. Before multiplying the loaves and fish, Jesus did something powerful. He gave thanks. He didn't wait for the miracle, he was grateful first. Gratitude doesn't rely on abundance, it flows from perspective. When we learn to be thankful even with little, we create space for divine provision to show up with power. Gratitude shifts us from scarcity mode to faith mode. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is God showing me through this?" Inner strength grows when we trade complaints for praise, even for the smallest things. Want to build this habit? Grab a notebook and write down 3 things you're grateful for every day, even on the hard days. You'll notice your heart softening, your eyes opening to blessings you've been missing. And even live storms will begin to look like tools for refining, not punishment. A life with God doesn't survive on occasional spiritual highs, it's built on daily commitment. Jesus showed us that through his consistency, he prayed daily, served daily, loved daily. And in that rhythm of continuous surrender, our inner strength grows deep like roots in solid ground. The good news is you don't have to start big. A short morning prayer, a kind gesture, one decision of faith in the middle of chaos, these are powerful steps. The secret is consistency. When you align daily with your spiritual purpose, life stops being a lonely struggle and becomes a meaningful walk. Let's close with a simple prayer. Lord, strengthen my faith. Teach me to serve, forgive, give thanks, and trust in you. Let me walk closer to your will each day. Make this surrender a habit, and you'll see even in the storms of life, there will be peace, miracles, and direction. Now what will you do with everything you just learned? Will you leave Jesus' teachings in theory, or start living them with courage today? Resilience isn't born in comfort, it's forged in the fires of conscious decisions. And the good news? You're not walking this journey alone. So tell me, which of these steps will you take first? Daily prayer, freeing forgiveness, serving others, or building gratitude? Just start with one. God isn't waiting for perfection, he's waiting for surrender. And every step toward him is already a miracle in motion. If this message spoke to your heart, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming. There's so much more to discover about faith, strength, and purpose. May God bless you and carry you today and always.